Okay, so we're in our lovely Virage here. First, we have our fancy chrome and glass Aston Martin key, the emotion control unit, as they call it. Okay, so foot on the brake, and then press it in and hold. The surround turns red, and we get the lovely V12 burble. The first things we know about the Virage is that, well, it says Virage on it. Also, the nav system's brand new. It's a new Garmin unit, and the one in the other Aston Martins was from Volvo, circa 2004 or something. So this is actually a lot nicer. It's a state of the art system. So, and it's very fast. So we're very pleased about that. Anyway, that's the nav system. For the radio, get the system. These are the Bang & Olufsen tweeters that rise up. So this car just came from California, so nothing's set up on it. So we'll set the radio station.
For the quartet for our session here today.
We're good to go. The leather in the Virage is of different quality than the DB9, and it's a lot softer. It's a beautiful car. This one's of course stitched in yellow contrast. Emergency brake down, and these buttons are new. Well, new for Aston Martin for 2011 anyway. So a glass effect. It's not real glass, because of course you don't want real glass in the car if there's an accident. But it looks like glass and it feels like glass. So anyway, here we go. We'll get out of the city and then resume the video on some country lanes. See you in a minute. So we've got the Virage out of Calgary, and we're entering Canmore, and one of my favorite views going into entering the foothills of Alberta, and then going into the Rocky Mountains. So now this car is certainly in its element. We've got the Bang & Olufsen sound system and the satellite radio with our side trance music on, which might be the only Virage in North America with side trance playing, but anyways. And the road's good. The car's very, very, very smooth and very composed. The quality of the materials is gorgeous. Like I said, the leather is new for this car, and it's a really beautiful place to be. Good visibility out front, and very pleasant architecture with good sight lines, and everywhere you look at the car, you know, you're looking at a beautiful surface or a beautiful design element, from the stitching to the black piano wood to the tweeters from the Bang & Olufsen sound system. You know, the instrument cluster looks like was intended to. It does sort of look like a high-end watch. And this car is very happy. We're only revving right now 1,200 RPM, and the car is perfectly happy. This is not a high-strung car. It'll go fast. It'll go 300 kilometers an hour and 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, and generate, I don't know, 0.9 Gs of lateral acceleration and so on. But it's not a high-strung animal of a car. It's happy at, like I said, 1,000 RPM, burbling through traffic. Suspension's compliant, and it's not snatchy on the controls. So sometimes when you get a car that's tuned, you know, within an inch of its life, it's just not happy going slow, and it's really just a frustration in town. But the Aston Martins in general, and the V12 cars in particular, with their automatic transmissions, have none of that at all. I mean, these are cars that are, you know, happy going to get the groceries as they are, you know, driving over 200 kilometers an hour. So we're gonna go into town here, and then there's a nice little twisty bit up ahead that'll, I think, show off the new suspension. So we'll get to that in a second. So top down, and there's probably lots of wind noise, so apologies if you can't hear me. This is one of my favorite roads west of Calgary. It's beautiful, beautiful view. But what I really like about it is the road surface is terrible, and there's every kind of off-camber is pretty quick driving on this road. Like if the body structure is flexible, for instance, you know, the speed that you can achieve through these corners is really minimized. If you've got a great stiff structure and great suspension, and a tractable engine, compliant suspension, you can actually keep up quite a high average speed. So some cars that generate good numbers on the racetrack absolutely fall apart on this road, and you can't drive them fast at all. Like I just took out a GT3 Porsche, and the ground clearance was so limited, and the suspension was so hard that the car would have like skittered off the road in the ditch. Also, there's not a lot of runoff here, and if you go in the ditch, you're in big trouble. You can show that. So I'm very impressed with the Aston Martins in general, and this car in particular, because you can do a great job of traveling in the city at low speeds and being comfortable in a beautiful object. But it can also handle rough, uneven pavement, and if I want to pass somebody, you know, I have all the power that I could ask for to get by somebody on a twisty road with limited visibility. So this car is in the normal mode, and I'm going over some really, really rough stuff, and yet the ride is composed and the cabin is composed. So it's a very good car, and they're all the Astons are like this because they're all based on this aluminum monocoque, a bonded and riveted aluminum structure, and you know, these things are measured in torsional rigidity, which is like a degree deflection over so many Newton meters of force, etc. And I don't have the exact number, but this car is extremely high, and it means you can have the confidence on roads like this with bumps to travel quickly, and you know that the suspension is going to be doing its job, and it's able to move up and down and keep the tire in contact with the road, and that means the car is going to turn the corner. Also with the Virage, it has the carbon brakes, and these do a bunch of things. They reduce the total weight of the car, and they reduce the unsprung weight of the car, which is the weight of all of the suspension components which go up and down. And the lighter that is, the easier they have to go up and down and move in the irregular areas of the pavement. And then the carbon brakes also reduce the rotational weight of the wheels. So, you know, if you have these like silly 21-inch tires that are chrome plated and they're super heavy, and you've got giant cast iron discs, the amount of power it takes to turn them is a function of the weight and the distance from the center axis. So if big heavy wheels and tires and brakes are the worst thing you can do, but you know, marketing kind of demands it with some cars, and so you wind up with a car that really has suboptimal parts on it. With the Virage, you know, you have forged alloy wheels of a reasonable size for the car, 20 inches, and the carbon brakes, they reduce the weight of the rotational mass quite substantially. They also don't wear out, or at least they won't, you know, for probably 100,000 kilometers. And there's very little problems with brake dust as well, which can be annoyance in some of the other cars. So this Virage has a lot of things going for it. Stiff chassis, lightweight suspension arms, carbon fiber brake discs. Really, the adaptive suspension will record, or so it has 5 different modes. It's able to almost instantaneously read the road and then dial in the shock stiffness by changing the valving of the shock. So the automatic transmission seems to also be super responsive, and you can't even buy a manual in this car because the automatics are so good. Downshifting to second, turning into the car, turning into the corner, red line, brake, downshift, matches the revs, you know, nice even throttle. You know, this is a real thoroughbred of a car, you know. Accelerate and on the brakes, it's not nervous at all, it just pulls you up square, and you can really be smooth and secure with it. You can hear the bypassing the exhaust open up and give you the straight through pipe, bypassing the inner chambers of the exhaust. So now that's on the regular mode. With the button here, I can hit the sport, and that firms up the shocks a lot. And then I can also firm up change the transmission parameters, and then the shock button, I change the shock. So with that, everything's quite a bit harder. On a road like this, I probably don't need it because I lose a little bit of the compliance and the comfort. So the regular mode, you know, does the job fine, but certainly on a racetrack or something like that, I would stiffen it up a bit. For rough everyday roads like this though, the standard mode is just fine. So I can't go wild with this car. There was a guy from St. Louis who looked like he was having too much fun in a Lamborghini, and Fox News got wind of it and made a big deal of it, and that was the end of his driving videos. So everything we've done is within the speed limit here and a safe way, and I'm not trying to promote bad driving habits, but it's a lovely car and feels right at home among the cows and the Rocky Mountains, and it's a real pleasure to drive the car, real pleasure to sell the car. And so that'll wrap it up on the Virage Romanosky from the Distinctive Collection in Calgary, Canada. Enjoying myself immensely in the Rocky Mountains, in the Aston Martin